fun at Disneyland turned tragic. A woman in her 60s suffered a medical emergency while on the Haunted Mansion attraction and later died.
In the span of just 10 days, the most magical place on Earth transformed into something nobody could have imagined. 3 deaths, 3 separate incidents, 3 families forever changed at a location designed to create the happiest memories of childhood. What unfolded at Disney World between October 9th and October 21st wasn't just tragic, it revealed something deeply unsettling about the hidden darkness that can lurk beneath even our most cherished institutions. This wasn't a single isolated incident that could be dismissed as unfortunate coincidence. This was a pattern that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and left families questioning whether the place they trusted with their most precious moments had become something else entirely. The details of what happened during those 10 days will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about theme park safety, mental health, and the desperate lengths people go to when seeking their final moments of peace. And here's what makes this absolutely chilling from a psychological perspective. Each incident occurred at a different location, using different methods, involving completely different people who had no connection to each other, yet they all chose the same destination for their final act. The pattern suggests something far more complex than random tragedy. It points to Disney World becoming an unexpected focal point for people in their darkest moments. The Haunted Mansion incident that started everything. At approximately 2:30 in the afternoon on October 9th, the Haunted Mansion attraction at Disney World looked like any other popular ride. Families lined up, children excited, parents capturing memories on their phones. The iconic attraction, with its $9.99 happy haunts and playful supernatural themes, had entertained millions of guests since its opening. But what happened that day would forever change how people viewed this beloved ride. An elderly woman in her 60s entered the mansion's doom buggy system, expecting nothing more than a few harmless scares and nostalgic thrills. The ride's familiar elements unfolded as designed: floating candelabras, ghostly apparitions, and the famous singing busts that had delighted generations. But somewhere between the seance room and the ballroom scene, something went catastrophically wrong. Emergency responders received the call at 3:47 p.m. A guest had become unresponsive during the attraction. Medical personnel rushed into the darkened ride system, navigating through the same corridors where holographic ghosts danced, now transformed into a real-life emergency scene. The woman was found slumped in her doom buggy, unconscious and unresponsive. Paramedics worked frantically to stabilize her as they transported her through the attraction's service corridors, pathways normally reserved for maintenance crews, now serving as an emergency evacuation route. She was rushed to a local hospital where doctors fought to save her life, but the damage had been done. What appeared to be a massive cardiac event had claimed another victim, and the Haunted Mansion had witnessed its first death in decades. The incident sent ripples through Disney's operations. Cast members who had worked the attraction for years suddenly found themselves questioning whether the ride's jump scares and supernatural atmosphere might be too intense for older guests. Families began wondering if they should reconsider bringing elderly relatives on attractions designed to elevate heart rates and trigger adrenaline responses. But this was only the beginning. When paradise becomes a final destination. 3 days later, on October 14th, the Contemporary Resort, one of Disney's flagship hotels, became the scene of something far more disturbing. The Contemporary, with its iconic monorail running directly through the building and its stunning views of the Magic Kingdom, had always represented the pinnacle of Disney hospitality. Families saved for years to afford a stay at this premium location, where children could watch fireworks from their balconies and parents could feel like they were living inside a Disney movie. But at 6:23 a.m., the Contemporary's soaring atrium and modern architecture became the backdrop for unimaginable tragedy. Summer Ekowitz, a 31-year-old woman, had booked a flight to Disney World the day before without telling anyone in her family. She arrived alone, checked into the Contemporary Resort, and spent what would be her final hours in a place designed to create magical memories. According to witnesses, she had been seen on the resort's upper levels in the early morning hours, appearing distressed and disoriented. What happened next sent shockwaves through the entire Disney community. Rather than seeking help or reaching out to the numerous guest services available throughout the resort, Summer made a decision that would traumatize countless families and cast members. She took her own life by jumping from the resort's upper levels, her body discovered near the monorail tracks that had once seemed like a whimsical transportation system. The scene was immediately secured by Orange County Sheriff's deputies and Disney security. Cast members quickly erected barriers using scaffolding, laundry carts, and maintenance equipment to shield the area from guests. But the damage to the resort's atmosphere was irreversible. Families who had paid thousands of dollars for a magical vacation found themselves witnesses to real-life tragedy. Hotel guests reported being approached by staff members who politely but firmly requested they avoid looking out their balcony windows. Children asking why they couldn't see the monorail were met with awkward explanations from parents who didn't know how to process what had happened. The contemporary resort, a symbol of Disney's futuristic optimism, had become the site of someone's final desperate act. The pattern emerges. But the most disturbing revelation was yet to come. On October 21st, just 7 days after the contemporary incident, Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground became the third location to experience a fatality. This sprawling resort, designed to offer families a rustic camping experience within Disney property, had always been considered one of the safer, more peaceful areas of the entire complex. The victim this time was an older gentleman, approximately 50 years of age, whose body was discovered in circumstances that immediately raised questions. Unlike the previous incidents, this death occurred at a location that seemed impossibly far from any structure tall enough to cause fatal injuries from a fall. Yet witnesses described seeing emergency responders performing CPR in a desperate attempt to save his life. Guests staying at nearby campsites reported being approached by Orange County deputies who requested they remain in their accommodations and avoid the area where the body had been found. Families who had planned peaceful mornings exploring Disney's wilderness trails instead found themselves confined to their cabins while investigators processed what had become the third death scene in 10 days. The location of the body puzzled even experienced investigators. Some witnesses suggested the distance from any buildings made accidental death highly unlikely. Others pointed to the isolated nature of the area as evidence of intentional self-harm. But regardless of the official determination, one fact remained undeniable. Disney World had experienced 3 deaths in 10 days, transforming the most magical place on Earth into something far more sinister. The psychological phenomenon. What emerged from these tragic incidents wasn't just a series of unfortunate coincidences. It was a disturbing pattern that mental health professionals had seen before, but never at this scale or in this context. Industry experts who work in hospitality management revealed a shocking truth. Hotels and resorts frequently become the chosen locations for people contemplating suicide. The psychology behind this phenomenon is both heartbreaking and complex. People in their darkest moments often seek locations that hold positive memories or represent happier times in their lives. Disney World, as a place associated with childhood wonder, family bonding, and escape from reality, becomes an irresistible final destination for individuals who want their last memories to be connected to joy rather than despair. A hotel management professional with 10 years of experience in luxury accommodations explained that staff members are routinely trained to handle these situations because they occur far more frequently than the public realizes. Guests often choose hotels specifically because they want to spare their families the trauma of discovering their bodies at home. They seek anonymous spaces where their final act won't forever taint the places their loved ones associate with them. But Disney World represents something even more powerful than a typical hotel. It's a place where adults reconnect with their childhood selves, where families create core memories, and where the harsh realities of adult life temporarily disappear. For someone contemplating ending their life, the appeal of spending final moments in a place dedicated to happiness and wonder becomes overwhelmingly attractive. The ripple effect on families. The true tragedy extends far beyond the individuals who lost their lives. Countless families who had saved money, planned vacations, and anticipated magical experiences instead found themselves witnesses to real-life horror. Children who should have been collecting autographs from Mickey Mouse were instead asking their parents why police cars surrounded their hotel. Parents who expected to capture joyful photos found themselves shielding their children's eyes from crime scene tape and emergency responders. One mother, whose family was staying at the contemporary resort during the October 14th incident, described the lasting impact on her children. They had planned to spend the morning watching the monorail and enjoying breakfast with Disney characters. Instead, they spent hours confined to their room while investigators processed the scene below their window. Her youngest child, who had been excited about riding the monorail, now associates the iconic transportation system with something dark and frightening. The psychological impact on Disney cast members cannot be understated. Employees who chose to work at Disney because they wanted to create magical experiences for families instead found themselves dealing with trauma, police investigations, and grieving guests. The Haunted Mansion cast members who assisted with the emergency response will forever associate their workplace with real death rather than playful supernatural themes. These incidents created a ripple effect that extended far beyond the immediate victims. Families who witnessed the aftermath, cast members who responded to emergencies, and even future guests who learned about the incidents online all became secondary victims of tragedies that were never supposed to happen in the most magical place on Earth. A sobering reality. The 10 days between October 9th and October 21st revealed an uncomfortable truth about modern society. Even our most cherished institutions, places specifically designed to provide escape from life's difficulties, cannot shield us from the mental health crisis affecting millions of people. Disney World's transformation from a place of pure joy to a location associated with tragedy reflects broader societal issues that extend far beyond theme park management. These incidents force us to confront difficult questions about mental health resources, the responsibility of entertainment companies to their guests, and the ways our society fails people in their darkest moments. They remind us that behind every suicide statistic is a human being who felt so hopeless that even the most magical place on Earth couldn't provide enough light to overcome their darkness. The families who lost loved ones during those 10 days will forever associate Disney World with grief rather than joy. The children who witnessed these events will carry those memories alongside whatever magical experiences they might have had, and the cast members who responded to these emergencies will continue working to create magic for other families while processing their own trauma from what they witnessed. What happened at Disney World during those 10 dark days serves as a sobering reminder that mental health struggles can reach into every corner of our society, even the places we consider most sacred and safe. It challenges us to do better, to create better support systems, and to recognize that the people around us might be fighting battles we cannot see, even in the most magical place on Earth.